Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Big Mac. I thought I'd just maybe bring you guys a Gears of War E-Day trailer breakdown, so let's get into it. So first few seconds of the trailer, we see a newspaper on the ground saying that our surrender war is over. So obviously this game is taking place after the Pendulum Wars. What else? We see little cube blocks on the floor. Maybe Marcus likes to roll die or something. I don't know why that's on the floor. But obviously this game is called Gears of War E-Day, so it's going to take place after the Pendulum Wars. Though we could see maybe the start being Pendulum Wars-esque. We could be fighting the Pendulum Wars in the first act, maybe the second act or third act, we actually start fighting the Locust. I have a couple ideas in my head of how the game is maybe structured. Maybe first act is fighting the Pendulum Wars. Second act is fighting the Locust with retros. Third act is we get Lancers, like Chainsaw Lancers. And then acts 3, 4, and 5, we basically lead up to Marcus getting captured. Because since this is a mainline Gears of War saga game, Marcus has to go to prison at some point in this game, most likely. So that's kind of my prediction: is Act One, Pendulum Wars; Act Two, the start of the Locust invasion, E-Day; Act Three, we get Lancers; and then 4 and 5, we basically lead to Marcus getting captured, or sorry, not getting captured, getting imprisoned. All right, the second frame of the trailer I stopped here was the TV. This is the first sign that this was a Gears of War trailer. When I was first watching it, I couldn't really make out the newspaper because it went by so fast. But this is when I knew this was Gears of War because I saw the signal on the TV say, or I can just recognize the insignia on the TV. And then obviously we have civil emergency message. Can't really make out what those words say on the TV, the small text, but there's a frame later on where we have a better view of what the text says. But yeah, here this is just a little shot we have of Marcus's crib, a little bachelor pad he has. I thought he was with Anya, maybe starting to get with Anya at this point, so maybe that's why he still lives alone. But it's funny because I feel like this is kind of small, considering Marcus's dad is Adam Phoenix, and Adam Phoenix is a weapons research scientist, and those people tend to make a lot of money. So the fact that Marcus is kind of living sort of in the small apartment, looks like to me, it's just kind of funny to me. But here, yeah, we have like Marcus got a little speaker set up. Looks like there's a picture on the wall right here. Can't really see what this is. I don't think it's speaker or like speaker menu or controls. I think this is a little picture frame. Obviously, we have a lot of books, and then later on we'll see what's on this counter right here when Marcus gets thrown onto it. All right, so we have another frame here. We have a couple pictures on the wall. Can't really make out what these are, but this maybe looks like a statue picture right here. Can't really make out what these two pictures are. We have a couple items. It looks like a shelf right here. There's a little cup that says, I can't really see. It says love. It looks like it says love something. Love someone. Can't really tell what that says. And here we have obviously like a little dining table with stuff on it, radio on the shelf back here, boxes, records and stuff. What interests me is that this says welcome home, and I'm wondering who set this up for Marcus, because obviously Marcus wouldn't set this up for himself. So obviously he's either living with someone, or maybe this is just um, his parents setting this up for him. Maybe Adam Phoenix. I don't think mom's or Marcus's mom is alive at this point. Maybe she is. Maybe she just dies during E-Day invasion. Maybe Marcus had an ex that set this up for him, because I don't believe Marcus and Anya were together at this point in the story. Or maybe I'm wrong completely, and Marcus still lives with his dad in his estate, and Adam Phoenix set this up, but welcome home. But yeah, it's just interesting that this is here because Marcus would not do this for himself. So I just wonder who this is for. If this is Marcus's pad, it could be. It could not be. Maybe it's just someone else, completely random house, and Marcus just happens to be fighting in it. All right, so I thought I'd pause at this frame because this is kind of the first. This is the first good look we have of the kind of newly designed Locust drone. Uh, Not really a good maybe frame to pause on, but still we have a good facial frame. His teeth are obviously really big. Kind of has that dinosaur look to him, but still that humanoid look. So it is kind of scary to look at him. Obviously, I'm not scared of him, and most people aren't. But you can tell that that the coalition really tried to or did their best in redesigning the drone to make him look a little bit more scary and monster like and something from your nightmares, something under your bed. I think they put it, and they did a really good job. Honestly, I will say there are a couple frames in this trailer where I believe the drone looks a little too weird, a little out of place in some parts, but it looks really good. And the TC did a really good job in redesigning the drone to make him a little bit more scary. And you can tell because Marcus is frightened by the look of this drone because obviously he's never seen it before. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting how the TC goes with the story of Marcus and Dom fighting these things for the first time ever. Man, this look just says it all. Like this is what I've been waiting for 5 years, bro. This young looking Marcus is ready to kick some ass, even though he's probably terrified at this moment, getting his ass beaten by a drone that he's never seen before. But this is what I wanted, man. This is what I've been waiting for. Like this frame just says it all from Marcus, just angry, ready to fucking tear shit up. Like this is what Gears needed right here. This is what Gears needed. Thank you, Coalition. Thank you. All right, so after we see Marcus get his ass whooped by the drone, we have a really good shot here of his armor, and his armor looks really good. This is basically the definition of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, like Marcus has basically kept the same armor design from the original Gears trilogy, even to Gears of War 4 and Gears of 5, where the Coalition basically kept his armor the same, except in 4 and 5, his armor is more white for whatever reason. I don't know, like it looks more gray, more silver. Like I guess you can say wear and tear, but it's just nice having this classic Marcus look. This very dark armor. Like I guess you can say fresh armor, new armor, and it just looks very good. It's funny because the lighting in this particular frame makes Marcus's hair look gray, and obviously we know he's not old here. You know he's got no beard, no scruffy beard. He's got no wrinkles on his face. He doesn't even have a scar yet. It's just the lighting makes his hair look great, but he's very much young here. And we have a speaker to the left here. Obviously, Marcus was probably blasting some music or, playing that amazing Gears of War 1 soundtrack. And then we have this weird yellow thing right here. I don't really know what this is. I can't really make out what it is. It just looks weird to me. Like maybe it looks like a stand of some sort for something, like a pot, like a tripod almost. Like maybe these are the legs to the right of it, and then you have like the shaft. That sounded very wrong, but I don't know what that thing is. Maybe it's meant for the speaker. Maybe it's a weird remote for the speaker. I don't know, but yeah, like this is just a good frame of Marcus's armor, and the game looks really good. I mean, the TC did a really good job of basically using Unreal Engine 5 because this is insane to look at. Marcus looks so good. The armor, his facial expression, the lighting on his face, the pores on his skin, you can even make it out. And this is ripped straight from the stream. Like this isn't the best quality the trailer can be. But it looks really good, and the TC did a really good job with this teaser trailer. All right, so here we have like the little knickknacks that Marcus has on his shelf we saw from the first shots of the trailer. And the first thing you will notice is he has a Cole Train figurine on the shelf. So it's just interesting because obviously Cole and Marcus have never met. They actually never meet until Gears of War 1. So it's just interesting that Marcus has his figurine of Cole here. Obviously, it's just a little Easter egg, maybe a little collectible that you could get to collect in the game. But yeah, it's just cool seeing just a reference to Cole Train in his Thrashball armor. It looks pretty sick. And we just have more books on the shelf, whatever. This looks like a little bowl. Honestly, this looks like a bowl meant for church. And I don't know if there's a religion in Sarah, but it looks like something used for church right here, this little gold bowl. Now, I don't think this means that we will see Cole Train in the game, but it's just nice to have a little reference to him. Because, again, Marcus and Cole don't meet till Gears of War 1, technically. So I don't think we'll see Cole or Baird in the game. But, again, this is just a nice little reference to have. Right here, we have a really good frame of the Locust armor and how big and kind of scary looking the drone is here. So We do have a little bit of a redesign of the drone armor. We have the locust insignia in the middle of his chest plate, but I believe that the drone actually has um, armor lighting. I don't believe the original drone from Epic Games or even in the newer like 4 and 5 games, I don't believe the Locust drone had that much armor lighting, especially not like the shoulder lighting and the chest lighting. But I do say this looks really cool. And then obviously we have. It looks like he has like wrist guards and like it looks like bandages wrapped, or I guess just sort of straps wrapped around his whole arm. You see his left arm is all like strapped up, and even his legs here, his thighs, and his right arm right here. But yeah, no, the locust looks really scary. His head shape is a little weird looking. It kind of looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type of dude. Like it kind of it has that feel, but it is also just a redesign of the drone, and the drone does look pretty scary here. It looks pretty humanoid to me. Like you kind of see the outline of the skull. He has a very thick jaw. Like his jaw is very protruding. It's kind of he kind of has a fat face, honestly. Like his jaw is very protruding and kind of fat. His cheeks are thin yet fat. The top of his head though, like his dome, like his skull area is very narrow, and it kind of like widens out as it gets to the chin. All right, so this very basically next frame we have here is that we see a Carmine, not a Carmine figurine, but rather a Coggear figurine. It's interesting that Marcus would have this because this looks like basically an action figure for a kid. So it's just interesting that Marcus has this toy on like on his shelf, and I don't think this is Carmine. I think this is just regular Cog Gear, and obviously the Carmines are basically just Cog Gear. It's just we know them as Carmine, but this just it's just a regular Cog Gear action figure. It looks like it's just interesting that Marcus has this. I'm thinking why does Marcus have this? He doesn't have a kid. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a kid. So maybe it's just something the coalition gave him as a reward for fighting the Pendulum Wars for however long he did. Like, hey, here's a action figurine of a cog here of your fellow brother in arms. But it's just weird that Marcus would have this. But yeah, I thought it's just an interesting thing to point out. It's just there's he has this figurine, or not this figurine, but this action figure, by his TV stand. But this does raise the question if maybe there is going to be a Carmine in this game, but they can't introduce Anthony because technically Anthony doesn't meet Marcus until Gears of War 1. They can't introduce Benjamin because Benjamin's a little bit too young for the war. They could do a recruit Clayton deal, so Clayton could be part of the main group here. They could do D Carmine, but I have a feeling they won't do D Carmine because I think it's a thing between Epic and Coalition where they're never gonna explain who D Carmine is or what he what helmet he wears or something. They're just gonna keep it very in the dark. So it's just interesting, and we know D Carmine's alive because he has a niece in Gears 5, Lizzie. So it's just there's hope for D Carmine, but maybe not. They could do recruit Clayton. Maybe there's no Carmines in this game at all. But yeah, I just thought this is an interesting thing to point out. All right, so here we have just a better look at the TV from the start of the trailer. Here we can fully see civil emergency message, Kelowna district follow safety protocols, proceed to nearest shelter. So the Kelowna district. So it looks like maybe this game will take place in Kelowna, and I don't know where the Kelowna district is in the Gears universe. Maybe it's new at Euphira, because I believe that's where the Hammer Strikes did fall at E-Day. So maybe this is just part of Euphira, or maybe this is a completely different city like Lima City, or I'm trying to think of other cities I remember from Gears of War. Is it maybe it could be Jacinto, but I don't think it's Jacinto. It's maybe between Lima and Euphira. It's not Halvo Bay. We had already a game set in Halvo Bay with Judgment, and they're not going to obviously do that place again. Though it would be maybe interesting to see Marcus go to Halvo Bay, because we do have that snippet of Marcus being in Judgment, for that that little line of dialogue he had, like two or three lines of dialogue he had in Judgment. So Marcus does eventually go to Halvo Bay for something, for whatever it is, but he does go to Halvo Bay for something. So, and I think that's actually before he goes to prison. So maybe this game we do see Marcus go from either this is Lima City or Ifira to Halvo Bay. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, this game is set in either Lima City or New Ifira. Uh, that particular part is, I guess, Kelowna district. Kelowna. I'm pronouncing that right. Right? Kelowna district? I don't know. We see Marcus fucking whack the drone with this anyways. So I kind of wanted to point this out in the trailer how Marcus slides for the Retro Lancer here. Maybe this is kind of a sneak peek at game, like maybe a gameplay feature of maybe being able to slide for a weapon you see on the floor, or maybe this is confirmation of weapon sliding being back. Because if you don't remember, in Gears of War 1, you were able to weapon slide, even added that in Gears of War Ultimate Edition. So it just I thought I'd point that out. Maybe it's just a little trailer thing of Marcus sliding to get the weapon, but I thought it could be maybe a new potential game mechanic of maybe you see a weapon on the floor that's a little bit out of reach, so you decide to slide for it and to pick it up at the same time. I think that would be kind of cool. Weapon sliding. Yeah, I just thought this was a pretty cool shot. I mean, this is so cool. I mean, the drone just kind of again pummeling Marcus to the ceiling this time, just holding him up there, and just the kind of the beauty of this shot. Honestly, it looks really beautiful, and you can kind of see the skyline too, just the lighting hitting through the windows, and it's just a beautiful shot. It really is a beautiful shot. So in case anyone forgot that this was Marcus Phoenix, this is again Marcus Phoenix. We can kind of obviously tell with the cog text, which again looks so good in this lighting and the way they shine, or like the way the lighting is making them shine. But we can clearly see this is Marcus Phoenix. On the left side or on the right side, we have property of the coalition or the governments. You can't really see because the bottom part is kind of blurred out, but this is property of the coalition. Then we see Marcus Phoenix. Obviously, this will most likely be his service number right here. Can't really tell what the numbers are. Yeah, but cool cog tags. Again, cool shot of just Marcus's cog tags dangling. So I think this is where the coalition meant they wanted to make the locusts way more scarier. You know, to what we know them as now. But just looking at this one shot, granted, Marcus is kind of his knees are kind of bent here, but you can just see just how much taller and in a way just how much bigger this drone is compared to Marcus. And we know Gears characters are really buff and really strong. Like they, from the especially the older Gears games, they're huge, right? They're massive compared to like to Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5, where they're a little bit smaller, but like they're massive in the original Gears trilogy. And just to kind of see how little Marcus is compared to this drone is kind of scary. Just like, damn, bro, like this, like the drone has a good like couple inches on Marcus. Obviously has way more strength than him, because technically, like throughout this entire fight, Marcus is losing. He's barely winning, because obviously, humans are most smarter than locusts. So that's why Marcus is able to kind of outsmart this drone. But from pure brute strength, like the drone is purely winning this fight battle against Marcus. And again, this is just kind of it is kind of crazy to look at just how much they redesigned the drone. But this was kind of where my gripe comes in, where I feel like the drone, like look at his torso, it is he does look kind of skinny. That's why I thought the drone looked a little weird, just a little elongated to me. Just to me, it just looks like this torso is a little bit too skinny. Make him a little bit more, I guess, big. Not like widthwise. I guess lengthwise, not lengthwise, but I don't know what you would call it. But just from the back, he just looks kind of skinny. Obviously, he's probably wide, but again, to me it looked a little weird. This shot, even though it's kind of scary, to me it just looks the drone looks a little weird. But we have another good, decent shot of what the drone is wearing. His armor. He obviously has ammo pouches right here on his waist. Armor is again a little different compared to the drone we're used to seeing. Their armor is very much different. So it is kind of cool to see the new look the drone has, and again the scariness of it. Man, if you needed a wallpaper, this is just the perfect shot of a wallpaper. Marcus looks terrified, yet he's not showing it. He's just like, yeah, come on, man. Show me what you got. And obviously, the drone is, in a way, kind of mocking him a little bit. It is kind of creepy. All right, so after we see Marcus headbutt the shit out of this drone, we see a little bit of blood on him. And here we have one of my critiques with it, as I was kind of saying from the other shot of the drone, is that he looks a little too lanky for me. I think uh, they should add more muscle to him, more buffness to him. Maybe if they do that, it would make the drone look a little bit too cartoony. But I think I think it'd do the opposite effect. I think it would make the drone look even more scary. Like, holy shit, this guy really is like, he's tall, he's built out. You know, he's shaped out, he's huge, he's muscular, and he's like just basically belittling Marcus here. So I think the drone is a little bit too lanky. But that's like the only critique I can say. Like the drone, besides the lankiness, looks super good. Like the coalition did such a good job in kind of redesigning the drone and how he looks. And in a way, the drone here kind of like the armor kind of does look like scraps, like compared to what we see the armor is from Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2. Not Gears 3 because that's all Savage, but Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2, like their armor is a little bit more uniform-ish. But in this game, kind of looks like the Locust. This is just kind of scrap he found, you know, and they just added the armor lights and like the Locust insignia on it. But you know, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just obviously this is E-Day, and the Locust during the maybe didn't really have that much armor in the Hollow before, you know, obviously uh, doing E-Day and maybe getting more armor from the Coalition. But yeah, this is just very interesting uh, design of the Locust, and it looks really good. Maybe besides the lankiness, and I kind of can't wait for the other designs of Locust because the Grenadiers are huge. Like from the Grenadiers from Gears 1 and Gears War 2, Gears War 1 and Gears War 2, like they're even more huge compared to the regular drones we see on snipers. Like they're really buff, they're wide, they're very muscular. So it's just interesting to see maybe how they will um, redesign those characters and redesign the sniper and redesign the boomers and the wrenches and, you know, all the other locusts and within the locust army. But from first impressions, again, the drone looks really good. The only critique I have with it is that he's a little bit too lanky. Not saying he's a stick, but he does look very lanky, and I would say maybe add a little bit more buffness to him, more muscle to him. You know, maybe even more fat to him too. I think that would go a long way in making him even more scary than he is right now. But yeah, good job, Coalition. Good job. Alright, so obviously we saw Marcus unhook the knife from the retro and shoot the locust in the head. I wish I can show that shot of the locust, you know, head coming off, but not that this video will ever get monetized, but I also just don't want to leave that frame for too long, considering I do talk for a very long time, and I don't want there just to be a frame of just guts on the, on the video for that long. But still, you can go back and rewind. You can watch the trailer for yourself if you want to see how good the honestly the gore was right there. But yeah, obviously we see blood on Marcus's face. He looks tired, obviously exhausted, considering how much energy he just wasted to even just fight back, even have a chance of defeating the Locust. But this is kind of a good shot here. We see kind of like Marcus's armor looks a little bit big for him. Like his shoulders are kind of way down here compared like to like the shoulder piece he has or the chest piece. So maybe in this game that maybe all the gears aren't big and buff yet. Maybe they get more buff later down the line and during the war. But I guess that goes for Locust too. That no one is big and buff yet. Because yeah, here I mean, obviously I'm not saying Marcus is weak. He's able to defeat a drone and outsmart him. But I don't know. I feel like his arms are way bigger in like the new games or like in the trilogy and even the newer games in 4 and 5. And then this trailer makes him, I don't know, his arm looks a little bit not weak, but not as buff as we see in the other games. this is just a really cool shot. Honestly, this game, this shot right here doesn't make it look like it's Gears of War. Obviously, it is Gears of War, but the lighting is so red. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it just makes it look like it's not Gears of War. But obviously, it is Gears of War. We know it's Gears of War. But again, this is just kind of a cool shot of Marcus hanging off the ledge of a pipe and looking down at the e-hole that was just created under his house or whoever's house this is. We don't even know if this is Marcus's house. And when you least expect it, we have Dom. Now, this could be Dom, this could not be Dom, because if this is Dom, Dom looks a little weird to me. I feel like in the new games, or sorry, not the new games, in the original trilogy and in 4 and 5 when they put him back in, his face is a little bit more chubbier compared to this game. Like this game he has a very narrow face, but in original trilogy and 4 and 5, his face is very much kind of I don't want to say chubby, but it's more wider and bigger. I guess chubby is the right word I'm looking for. But yeah, but either way, we have Dom or could be Dom. And again, I mean, still, he looks really fucking sick. Like, there's no doubt about that. All right, so I retract my previous statement of this maybe not being Dom. This is definitely Dom because Dom, as far as I know, all the other games he has piercings in his ears. But yeah, this is Dom. He looks again very good, except his face to me it looks so narrow. I don't know why. It just looks skinnier. But again, we'll see right now in this outer shot that kind of zooms out. We'll just kind of see how big both armors look on both characters. So maybe this is just more like because maybe the Pendulum Wars they didn't need to be as strong and as buff compared to the Locusts, and they see how big and strong the Locusts are. They're like, okay, we have to match that strength somehow. We have to match that width, that girth, that height in some way. And so maybe they just get bigger and bigger throughout, or maybe they just somehow just get buffer and more muscular as as the years go on during this time. Even though Marcus does get sent to prison, so I guess in prison he was able to still eat as much as he could and hit the weight room, I guess. But yeah, again, Dom looks really good. Graphics look amazing. Again, nice job, Coalition. This is just a cool shot of Marcus, man. Like with the do-rag back on, young Marcus just ready to tear some shit up. Look at the anger in his eyes, bro. That facial expression. This game, I hope they do it good. Yeah, but this shot right here looks cool. This might be the thumbnail. I don't know. This might be a good thumbnail to post because this is a really cool fucking shot, man. But yeah, I just wanted to pause this frame and just mention how good Marcus looks here, bro. I'm kind of creaming my pants right now, low key. All right, so this is the shot I was talking about of how Dom and Marcus kind of like their armor looks a little bit big for them. But again, they both look amazing. They look incredible. Seriously, they honestly look incredible. But I do feel like their armor is a little bit bigger than them. This kind of reminds me of like the way Gears Tactics characters look. If you go and look at the way Gabe Diaz was designed, and even Sid, their armor looks kind of huge compared to them, and they don't look as buff or as big. But again, this could be that like throughout the years of fighting the Locust, they buff themselves out to kind of match their strength. But yeah, they look a little bit slim to me. But I'm not saying they aren't strong. Obviously, they can beat my ass any day of the week. But I just thought I'd point that out of how the armor looks a little bit big. But again, the design of the characters look fucking amazing, and I'm excited. Okay, you knew this final shot was coming. Like, this will probably be the longest part of the video as I try to explain everything I see from this one single frame. If you can tell, there's about 1, 2, 3 corpses, I believe, on screen. They're kind of over buildings right now. Obviously, we have King Ravens flying over the city. We have drones on the bottom of the city. You see fire. We see e-holes. Again, the e-holes are red, which is kind of an interesting thing because from Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2, the e-holes are actually they're like a weird yellow greenish color, like a weird lambent color. Um, those are what the e-holes look like in those games. But in this game, everything's very, very red, very blood red. Just interesting, uh, a theme color, a color theme they chose to go here. Even the stoplight is red. You can see that. But yeah, here we have a big, big city, a bridge. We see skyscrapers in the back. It looks like a light house all the way at the far uh, back in the right side of your screen. This looks like a courthouse again to the right of the screen. This little dome shaped area. Again, we have skyscrapers over here. So I don't know what city this could be. This could be Lima City. This could be Jacinto. This could be Ifira. This could be any city, and I don't know. I don't know much about the Gears of War lore, comic wise at least. I do play all the games. I'm a Gears of War fan, but I just never read the comics. So maybe this is a specific city. I don't know. Maybe this is a panel or a comic panel on one of the comic books. But yeah, it's just a great shot of the true destruction the locusts are capable of, and I can't wait to see how or what more they show off how the locusts destroy the city before the hammer strikes. Because obviously this looks like before the hammer strikes. I'm guessing after the hammer strikes come in, all these buildings are just basically going to be dust and just crumble all over the place. And again, this is before Stranded too, because the Stranded are a thing because of the hammer strikes. So there technically is no Stranded until the hammer strikes. Again, so it would be interesting to see how they make this world, because this world looks beautiful. It looks amazing. I can't wait to play in it. I just wonder how they're gonna do it. How it will be. Will it be back to linear missions, or will this be open world? Because honestly, in a weird way too, this kind of looks like Batman. Like, is that crazy to say? This kind of looks like Arkham Knight in a weird way. The way that the skyline is, the horizon, kind of makes the game, the lighting, it kind of makes the game look a little bit like Arkham Knight in a way, which is fine. Arkham Knight is a very good game, so maybe some inspo of the way the city looks kind of looks like Arkham Knight a little bit. But yeah, no, this looks amazing. I can't wait to play in this world the coalition has built from the ground up. Whether it's gonna be linear or open world, I don't know. I would prefer linear. I think the Gears 5 open world was not bad, but I did prefer the linear aspect of the game, because Gears of War has really good gameplay. Even Gears of War 4 and 5, the gameplay is really good. So doing that whole clearing the room simulator is fine by me, because the gameplay is just that sharp, is that good. It's so fun to play. It's addicting, and I just hope the story, however they tell this story, I hope the story is good. But yeah, no, this looks amazing. I can't wait to play in it. I know I said that for 1,000 times, but I truly am excited. The next Gears of War era is finally here after, well, at least the trailer came out after 5 years. We probably won't get this game until next year or 26, so that would be 6 or 7 years of development of the Coalition cooking. But I will say this trailer definitely cooked. They definitely cooked with this trailer. But yeah, that's about all I have. I know this is a 30-minute video of a 2-minute trailer, but that just goes to show I am very passionate about Gears of War, and I'm really excited to see where the Coalition takes this game, because obviously they're not continuing Gears, or this game isn't a continuation of Gears 5. It's a prequel. It is part of the mainline saga. It is not a reboot. It is part of the mainline saga. So it'll be interesting the story they tell here, considering we kind of know where the story is going to go. Like, we can kind of predict the way the story is going to be. But again, it'll be interesting in what they do. But yeah, that's all I have today, guys. Thank you for listening. If you guys sat through this whole video and are as excited about Gears of War E-Day as I am, then please drop a sub, drop a like, leave a comment, explaining. I do kind of want a conversation with this video to see what you guys think of this trailer and what you guys are hoping for with this game. But yeah, I appreciate it, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.